that first session, and he missed all of practice. So we're sort of Lockie's sort of that unknown quantity for the rest of this race. So um, I'll be interested to see how he goes. That would be me, I guess. But that'll sort itself out when we go green. No, I'm in the monitor, mate. Well, I was just about to make the comment that Metal Drive must have lost a massive chunk of time on that first lap, because yeah, he's a fair gap away to Jetto and less than 10 seconds ahead of Weary Knight. Well, we'll be able to see some reflective lap times when they start crossing the line. Jetto's just exiting the Corvette curves now and heading towards the Ford chicane. Of course, back on the point with Jetto, that Corvette he's driving, they're pushing for 2 wins in a row in the GT class over the last couple of years. So yeah, Speed Racer doing it solo last year. Time penalties in this session is not going to be too critical because the field will be compressed. Locker's about to come up to a couple of bit of traffic blasting from Arnage to the Porsche curves now. He's got Jetto and Captain Cranky in front of him. He backed out of it there. He's driving smart. He's also about to catch some traffic. Yeah, it is. So just watching Jetto lapping Captain Cranky. Captain Cranky wasn't making it easy for Jetto. He's saying, if you're going to lap me, you're going to have to earn it. Jeez, Jetto must be feeling under pressure. He only just pulled it up at Indianapolis. Oh. Jetto's gone. So he completed 4 laps. They're on lap 6, so he disconnected on lap 5, so he completed 4 laps. Hadn't quite completed that 5th lap. He disconnected on lap 5, so he's completed 4 laps. Oh. Scott Gecko, that car's proven to be very aggressive when it comes to overtaking the traffic. They're trying to lose as little time as possible to bridge the gap back to Darky. They were actually fast on that previous lap too, so yeah. Well, we don't have mechanical failures in the online sim racing world, but what we do have is internet failures, hardware failures. And I reckon Highlander and Simo Racing will be cheering that Ford on, the current winners of the Daytona 24-hour GT class, in this very car. It'll be big for Ford if they can win 2 of our special events this year. Yeah, we just need a call out to Holden to let Slightly Mad Studios scan the Holden Commodore into Project Cars 3. Oh. And that's a change for the lead. There we go. Twice in 2 laps, the lead of the GTE classes changed hands. Wherein I just flashed the lights in celebration. He's very pleased with that move. And now he's got open track to try and put some dominant laps to build a gap. Yeah, -3 degrees. It's getting cold. Yeah, ambient temperature's already oh, it's already gone up by 2 degrees since the start of this session. 16 degrees. 16 degrees in the air at the moment. It's the track. We're currently reading it at 28 degrees. Yeah, probably just a spin. Yeah, I expect Darky in at least 1.5 laps. He might even get 2.5 laps. Seems to be Darky's turn to cop the bad traffic. Just got caught behind um, the Porsche slide signs in the Ford chicanes. Couldn't get past till the pit straight. That is very early. You could have done an extra lap. Easily. Or maybe it's to reset the pressures. Especially with the track getting hotter and hotter as the sun keeps creeping up. I'm just admiring that boost power of the Le Mans prototypes, watching Lockie blast past the GTE of Captain Cranky. Oh. Yeah. He's in the chicane now. It's going to be as close as what the pit stop was with what it was with myself and Gecko in the first session. In fact, it is. It's almost identical situation to what it was in the first session between myself and Got Gecko. Eh. Yeah, the good thing is we don't quite know what the strategies are for his car, because Darky may have just done the 4 tyres in that stop and Gogeko may have only done 2 tyres. Well, there was that one lap where Darky was a lot slower than Gogeko. It was about a whoa! Is that secretly a Toyota engine in that Audi body? Getting some JDM action happening. Yeah, well, this session is all about getting yourself in prime position for an all-out sprint in the final session. But it's risk versus reward, because if you can just maintain this gap and let the compression formula do its work, you'll be a lot closer than if you push too hard and end up having to crash. Yeah. Got 6 seconds of time penalties at the moment, Lockie. Pegasus has come in early too. Well, I think Pegasus is... Oh, Pegasus overshot his pit box. Oh no. Be running. We'll probably see him in on the next lap. Yeah, but crucially, still well ahead of Metal Drive. Yeah. Yeah, I just noticed he's been in the pits for an abnormally long time. That'd be a high risk move though, I would say. you've already passed the 40-minute marker to ensure that you can get the 2 stop in. Oh, bit early on the curves there. He's almost driven it straight into the wall. Yeah, this Toyota's the only one with 4-wheel KERS deployment. The Audi and Porsche have front-wheel only KERS deployment. Darky's coming up on a bit of traffic as well, as will be Gokgeko. That's yeah. That's the 2 Porsches get a bit intimate with one another. Whoa! I just seen Darky and White Pegasus almost coming together on the run to Indianapolis. There must be millimeters in it as Darky put an overtake on Pegasus. Pegasus not quite realizing Darky was going for it. It's not about looks, Woody. It's all about the speed. Lloyd's made the comment on the chat that Lucky 55s likes to run out of fuel in this track. He's definitely cutting it very, very fine. I just need to check something with the audio levels. For those in the chat, if you can hear my voice, type GTE in the chat. Because it's definitely checked. So it might be something to do with similar issues to what was happening last night in the Session 2 broadcast with Matty Seeking and Slide Science. I don't think there is, personally, because they. Oh, Lockie! He's had another massive moment coming out of the Mulsanne corner. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because it could also be because I'm talking so rarely that they might be getting confused. But, got no idea. Well, my Porsche is currently sitting third, so. As I said all week, I'm always happy to. Reunite in the pits. Well, the Porsche is definitely capable of that one-stop strategy. I tried it last night, and I did only do one stop for fuel, but unfortunately I had about 3 other pit stops to repair damage. Be seen dark racing in 5 laps time, and got Gecko in 4 laps at the latest. Captain Captain Cranky's just done a naughty, 1 second time penalty, and Lockie's now up to 8 seconds of penalties. Yeah, I have to throw in that it is a lap record for the ANZCRL Combined Racing League Le Mans 24 hour. Yeah. Yeah, he's done one less lap than all the other cars. Lockie's about to get lapped by Darky. I'll throw it to you, Cyrus. Yeah. Whoa, Lockie. Lockie had a massive wiggle coming out of Tertre Rouge. Thought he might have overcooked it, but he's still going. That comes onto the Mulsanne straight. Now, I have just sprung Captain Cranky speeding in the pit lane. Forgot to engage the pit limiter coming out of his pit box and sped up to 80 kilometers per hour before hitting the brakes. He got 10 seconds added. He will have 10 seconds added to his race time along with his 1 second off track penalty. Yeah, and I've noticed Dado, it's caught Dado out a couple of times now. He'll be praying it doesn't happen in the final session. Well, it's entering the pit lane backwards is what disqualifies you. Or if you enter the pits like way too quick, like going 100 kilometers over the speed limit. Oh, hello. He's blinked early again. Look at his field. He should be 2 more laps, I would say, or 1.5 laps. It'll depend how much he wants to put up with the wheel shaking. That is, enter the roof camera. Yes, there's the Mercedes CLR where they make the overhangs too big for the car. And when you do that, the car rocks. And it rocked up, pushed the air under the car and just flipped it. Yeah, that's in. The number 8 car is only getting about 4.3 litres a lap, which is pretty frugal for a 13-kilometre lap in a prototype. The diesel in it helps. Of course, the Audis are... and they have a bigger fuel tank. Yeah, it does add time to your pit stop, but it also, you save time by not having to transit the lane as often. Where United's checked out big time on Metal Drive. Oh, it is a brilliant car to drive. It's just a brilliant piece of machinery. Just you can just turn it in once, it just hooks into the corners, and it just powers out of the corners like you wouldn't believe. Well, they have Audi have about 20 wins at Le Mans, so don't think they're too worried about the 2010s as such. They absolutely dominated mid, the early to mid 2000s. Yeah, it was a Gears chimed in the chat saying that the Joas that you guys were pronouncing is actually pronounced Yoast. He's already must have only been front tyre change only because he's pulled out to almost a 30-second lead. So yeah, that's why I made the comment early in the race where it was the alternate strategies where Gecko did the tiny tyre change and Darky did the major tyre change, and they flipped it for this pit stop. That's the... Hmm. Yeah. Porsche hasn't quite got to the same speed that it had last year. It's just off by just a few seconds. But again, that just comes down to practice, getting familiar with the car, optimizing the KERS usage. Yeah, the, that Aston Martin of metal drive seems to be much more suited for daytime running than it is at night. Just seen. It was 3 and a bit hours real time, and simulated time it was well over 12 hours. Mm. Yeah, now's the time where the mistakes are going to come. Yeah, he just needs that. Just needs the arm on the window and it'll be proper cruise mode. Yeah, yeah, it's so easy. You could tell the cars that are in front that you just have the car just so settled that it just almost seems too easy. Darky's just coming on. I mean, Lockie's just coming on to the main straight now. Yeah. Yep. That's the final fuel fill up.
Pegasus. Oh, he hasn't even reached his bay, and he's actually got his wheels not mounted, his pedals, so they are moving around on the floor a little bit. So maybe that could be the reason why he's missing the pit, stamping on the brakes a bit too hard, with the pedals moving on him. This is a big moment.
Cost Metal too much time. He still would put fuel in the car, and he can get to the end. He won't have to stop later, but a bit extra to fix that damage up. Whereas Slide Science on the track, he's just coming out of Indianapolis.
Yeah, so won't have affected him. I forgot that they were going to need a pit again, and so that won't really affect him too much. So that's he got a bit of a get out of jail card there. So he's just got to hope to keep it on the black stuff now for the remaining 30 minutes and bring this thing home. Knowing that Weary Knight still has to pit for fuel. Won't have to be much fuel, but he will have to stop still.
They're on track. Looks like the Ford is running the same strategy as the Corvette from last night. I know Gear was trying to save fuel. He said he was running lean, and one watching the replay late last night, he was only hitting 270 on the Mulsanne straight, where I was not saving fuel and I was hitting 295.
Wow, what a difference.
Yeah, and I think he was doing 4-minute ones and stuff and giving up 5 seconds a lap.
Yeah.
So, whereas
it all comes down to
pushing
a bit of gearing as well, I think. So, yeah. Just one little setting. I don't know how much settings they have in the gear.
Oh, he's lost it. Lockie's lost it big time, big time.
Oh no!
Turtle Rouge again. He's been twitching there. All
see
race.
one of the Audis come past.
and he's got the better half of 3/4 of a lap to go to get back into the pit bay for his stop, which will be held up a little bit with that damage repair, depending on how much he's got. Looks like it's crabbing a little bit down that straight.
Doesn't look too bad, but it might feel pretty
It's
bad.
got major damage there. I'm just seeing it zigzag left, right.
Oh, yep, the right rear corner's been hit. There's no brake lights on there.
Oh, that's a shame, but
a massive crash.
He's been doing so well in this session, but no, it's not lost yet. So he's definitely still in. Get that damage repair and come out, and we should see him still in a good, handy position once that time compression comes in.
We've just seen Dark Racing Ford. He's just set, I think it's the fastest lap of this session, a 3:16.6 on his last lap.
Pretty close to it.
And that'll have to be one more stop, wouldn't it? 26 litres won't last 27 minutes.
They'll have to just have a splash and dash.
It's definitely a splash and dash.
With the number 7 car pitting earlier. Yeah, there we go. 6 litre difference there.
He's going to get held up a little bit, but he'll get the power out of the chicane here.
That's slide science there.
Ducky's really motoring along though, because that 16.682 that he did on that last lap is 0.02 of a second slower than the old lap record that was set by Dominator before we arrived here yesterday.
Yeah, wow.
I'm not sure, did the LMPH cars get a bit of an overhaul a few years ago with the Heures? Or was that just because the difference between LMP1 category and LMPH category?
I'm not too sure.
Deployment.
Well, it's just the change in the game. The LMP1 cars on Project Cars 2 deploy Heures automatically, and the Heures that they use is a lot stronger. Whereas in these LMPH cars, the Heures is a bit weaker and it's manual deployment.
Yeah. Which I found too. Sometimes I forgot to press last night. Getting a bit weary.
And Darky there, just a 10th off.
That might be what Pegasus has been happening to him as well with those 3:32 laps. Is just forget to deploy the Heures at some stages.
Yeah, it's easy to do. Easy to do when you start daydreaming a little bit.
Lockie's been able to make it back to the pits.
Yeah, so get that damage repaired and get back out and have a solid little run for the last 24 minutes or so.
Yeah, he's still got a big buffer to Pegasus, so he should be able to hang on to that 3rd place.
Bit of an unscheduled stop for them. The boys were just finishing off their ice creams.
For Lockie, it was scheduled because he came in. They put him to the pits with 3.2 litres of fuel left in the tank.
He still had he had about 7 litres of fuel, I think, when he hit that. I can't remember what it was, so.
I was just trying to sneak another Days of Thunder reference in.
Yeah, so he definitely had to pit again because he only pitted once at that stage. I think that's what it was. I think he hadn't had his 2nd pit stop yet.
Yeah, I don't think he did. But that was a short
now.
stop, so there wasn't much damage on the car. He's back out.
Yeah, it must
have been a bit like Metal Drive. He got a little ticket, a little get out of jail card.
Yeah,
so it would have been a slow in lap because he would have had that damage and he wouldn't have been able to push.
Slide Science has done a 4-minute 10.8. And he's halfway through his stint there, so I've been keeping an eye on it. I don't know if he's fuel saving or if he's backing off or.
He might be just making sure he's got enough fuel, just thinking that if he has to do an extra lap like what you did, Cirrus, last night, if the LMPHs get around enough to make another extra lap, sometimes that's where the Porsche, even with that bit of fuel conserving, comes unstuck. If you have to do that little extra lap, you just don't have enough fuel.
Yeah,
So all that
okay.
hard work goes down the drain. So maybe he might be just getting himself a buffer. But
Well, his
looking at from
teammate.
the times from last night and tonight, they're roughly the same, and they managed to do that full 2 hours in. I think it was just over. It was enough where there was too much time to be gained to try and do that extra lap for the LMPHs. So I don't think there would be an extra lap.
Yeah, because Captain Cranky, his teammate in the 92 Porsche, he's gained another 25 seconds, and since the last time we checked in, we've got
Yeah, okay.
22 minutes to go in the race. So he's brought himself back into play marvelously here.
Yeah, it's definitely a great drive in session 3 from that number 92 Porsche. But yeah, just getting back to doing that extra lap, I think it was roughly, they have to make an extra, like make up another 2 minutes on that time to be able to get that extra lap in for the leading LMPH car, so that's a lot of time.
Darky's flying. That's his third 3 minutes 16 in a row, and they're all within 2/10.
Yeah, he's very comfortable. Very comfortable in that car.
Yeah, gonna start seeing some pit stops coming up for the
And
prototype
don't forget
class.
that, oh yeah, okay. Don't forget, this is actually one of the parts of our ANZCRL Combined Racing League's Triple Crown. Winning this and the Indianapolis 500 and the Bathurst 1000 gives you the trophy, which has already been given to Shats. He's our inaugural winner of the Triple Crown, winning all that.
Yep. And
So Darky winning the Indianapolis 500 this year and going for victory here at Le Mans. All he'll need to do is try and win his bogey race. Is the Bathurst 1000. He's not a huge fan of that track and the V8 supercars.
God, Gecko was
Locking
playing
in
with
again.
fire there. Almost.
He didn't put enough fuel. No, I don't know.
I'm not too sure what
That's
it was.
probably damage, I would assume. Maybe they didn't repair the damage on the previous pit stop, and that's why it was so quick.
Yeah, could have been, yeah, because I was wondering why it seemed to be so quick. He might have just used his, hadn't selected the strategy correctly.
Well, got Gecko. He's responded on his last lap with a 3:17.0. But he's also pushing hard to keep up, but it's that 40-second margin there, and it'll be interesting to see. They're surely both just going to keep their tyres on and just splash and dash for the end.
Yeah, it definitely seems
Surely.
like the number 7 Audi just seems to phase in and out every so often. So they get some good laps in, and then they must drop away for a few laps. It must take a bit to maybe cool the tyres down or heat them up, or whichever problem it is. Just not as settled as that number 8 Audi.
Yeah, not quite at the moment. He seems to get that wheel spin every time coming out of the Mills Lane corner there.
You see Lockie just exiting the pits there. That makes it a 3-stop for him, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's 3 stops now. He's taken the my lead of obviously having a little bit of an incident in that 2-hour session, which is not hard to do, and that's why credit to both Dark Racing and Got Gecko at the moment. They're those leading Audis. They haven't put anything for foot wrong yet. We've had a little moment we've seen with Got Gecko sometimes. They're getting the power down, coming a bit too hot some of the corners, but they've kept it fairly straight. And I'd say Weary Knight's done the same. I don't think we've actually seen Weary Knight, who's just done a 3:54.976. So that's
Lap
the
record.
fastest lap of the race and a lap
And
record,
lap record,
as Sado
wow.
has just said. So absolutely flying. He's loving these conditions at the moment. The sun's right up there,
Yeah,
probably around about 1 p.m. in game at the moment.
this is the best conditions we're going to get in the entire race, I reckon.
He's just thrown the gauntlet to Dado, saying, you know, catch me if you can now. This is what you've got to do it.
Yeah, it looks like the sun's really medium cloud. The clouds are sort of breaking away, but it looks like they're on the radar. They're sort of a bit of cloud cover coming over from the east.
Yeah, the
And,
clouds are now rolling in, the overcast conditions. So it's gonna start getting cold again.
yeah, hopefully no rain in any of that overcast clouds.
Yeah,
Doesn't not picking up on the rain radar.
yeah,
So,
but the
but you
clouds are
never know,
looking
do you?
pretty dark, so we've got the fingers crossed.
What did you
Fingers
say the
crossed.
race lap record was for the LMPH?
At the
Um,
moment, it's a 15. Can't even remember what it was.
15.449, which Sato did,
Okay.
but before that, I'd have to go back in our
Yeah,
history there.
before that was a 16.6 by Dominator
Dominator.
back in 2018.
Well, Darcy's set the fastest lap of this session at the moment.
16.1. So that's both number 7 Audi drivers have gone under the old lap record. And not just under it, they've obliterated it.
Yeah. And we, me and both Matty Seekin and myself in the first session, we did comment that it really was shaping up to be one of the fastest Le Mans we've seen here at ANZCRL Combined Racing Leagues, and it's definitely proven that so far. Last year, obviously, we had some rain which slowed them down, but this year it's been dry running all sessions at the moment. It's just that doubt with those dark overcast skies starting to show. But as we said, no rain on the radar, so they'll be hoping that rain stays away in the final session.
Got Gecko starting to get to the bottom of his fuel tank at the moment. Only 5 litres left.
Yeah, he'll be in this lap, I assume. As we see Lockie in
Lockie's
again.
back in.
He's obviously got some sort of pit bug or something going on, so he's not happy here.
This is bringing Pegasus back into the fray. In fact, I reckon Pegasus might even get close. No, actually, I thought Pegasus might have been overtaking Lockie for third, but still got another lap to go to catch up to Lockie.
The times get a bit weird when they're in the pits, and I did notice last time it was getting close, but as soon as Lockie came out onto the track, it was back to 2.5 minutes or something. But
Lockie's
still,
had a
another
couple of
30 seconds
speeding
he gained.
penalties as well. He's up to 25 seconds of time penalties.
Well, it's definitely going to put the interest into the LMPHs for the victory and also the final podium spot for this final session between the two Audis for outright victory and then the Toyota and the Porsche for the third spot. But that's something exciting to see for the final session, and then I think we're going to have a four-way battle at this stage late into the final session. Obviously Weary Night and Metal Drive will be Weary Night and Dado Race, I'd say. Will be very close at the start.
Here we go, right on cue. Got Gecko's going to make his final splash and dash.
I'll just got the top stopwatch on here. We'll just see how long he's stationary for compared to what Darky will be.
Shouldn't be too long for the pit stop.
Yeah,
That was
just
a
about 9
splash and
seconds. Yeah, 9 seconds that one. So we'll wait for Darky. Darky will be in next lap normally. He was usually followed Gecko the next lap after they were in.
Yeah, he's just been held up by a Porsche. Looks like that was Captain Craig.
No,
it
was
wasn't
slide
Captain
signs.
Craig. Yeah, it was slide signs. So I got
Yeah,
my,
Still in
currently-
those 4 minutes.
got my Porsches
Currently
mixed
though,
up.
holding third.
Yep.
And our man in the commentary box looking for a dual podium victories here at the 2020 Le Mans 24 hours, the fourth run in here at ANZCRL Combined Racing League. It'll be quite an achievement. No one's done it yet. There's been a few guys try doing a dual class running to help guys run, but never have they been in a position that Satos finds himself this year.
Great to more luck than anything. Making the most of the Corvette team not being disconnected at the start of this session.
That's
They're
right.
the breaks that you sort of got to take and capitalise on. That's exactly what Slide Science has done.
Yeah, he's running a clean race, Slide Science. He's been doing well with the lap traffic as we see Lockie start catching him now.
Hopefully he gets through nice and cleanly. No damage. Hopefully it's all been repaired. This car seems to be handling a lot better. Hopefully they fixed it second time around.
Whoa.
Or third time around.
I was so nervous on the curb though for Lockie. I think that's
Yeah.
must have a few problems with the fast bumps. It's just not riding the curbs as well as it
Handling the
could.
curbs. Yeah.
It's good to see the Porsches this race. Both of them have clean cars. They haven't been in the wall at all that I've seen. We've got Captain Cranky. He's
Wow.
only 1 minute behind his teammate now. So come that
Yeah,
last
so that's
session,
gaining,
Sato, you might be, yeah.
gaining 3 minutes on the 91 Team Apex Eaters. So yeah, could upset the that third spot for the 3-car driver lineup in the Team Apex Eaters with Timmy 82, Sato 15, and Slide Science.
I'm not sure if we'll see Speedy the Bandit in that Porsche car in the 4th session. Not quite sure on their lineup if Captain Cranky's going to do 3 stints or not, but
Yeah, at this stage there might be a late executive decision there, and I think Captain Cranky would be wise to, if he can, make that final session to be in that car. Definitely showed a lot more pace and consistency than Speedy the Bandit. The car's suiting Captain a lot more than Speedy.
he's been plugging on well. Where's Weary? Yeah, so he has lost a lap, still a lap down. However, when Weary's last stop, which he'll be pitting at the end
I
of
was
this
just
lap.
about to comment that just seeing the filler man for the Ford team just warming up to get ready to put some fuel into the Chip
Yes.
Ganassi racing car.
Ice cream wrapper in the bin.
Doing his squats, a few little stretches.
Yep. Very important job, the fuel man, and not easy to do. You gotta have the upper body strength to push that hose in and keep it in while the fuel spills out at a ridiculous rate a second.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we might have missed. We missed Darky actually pitting or not, or is he still out?
No, he's still been circulating, but he'll be in this lap.
There you go. Because I've seen that time go out to 1 minute 17. I'm thinking, oh, something's happened here, but
Both
nothing's
the race
happened to
leaders
Gecko.
in this lap.
Well,
Gecko's already been
pitted.
in.
Oh no, I said the
race
leaders.
leader.
Weary Knight will be in too.
Oh, exactly. So it's going to be very busy in pit lane. But just remember, Gecko's in that number 7 A&M racing. They had a 9-second stop for fuel. We'll just see how much fuel theoretically Darky should need to be there that as long as Gecko was. Catching the Porsche at the right time as Darky's going to be in the pit lane this lap.
Using that curb there on the exit is always very scary actually.
Not in the
risque.
Audi though. Audi can handle
On
it.
the Audi.
There he
through the
goes.
chicane.
Yeah,
Maybe
he
have to
seems
put
to
a
keep
bollard there.
outbraking himself at that.
Yeah.
I've seen cars that have completely shortcut that chicane, but
I'm
looks like
proud
Darky's
Lee
been
can say
trying to at least take the chicane.
I can proudly say that I've used the track on both my stops.
Yeah, so, there we go. That was just on 8 seconds, so about a second less time.
Yeah, it's a lot of fuel in that car. Probably a bit too much fuel for Darky. Considering there's only 3 laps to go in this session.
Yeah, as Gecko leaves Arnage, as Darky just comes out onto the track. And Weary Knight, 4.8 litres. He's just caught the back of Slide Science. That'll put him a lap down, but as we said, Weary will dive off into the pit lane. And that'll save Slide's lap.
And he comes.
See
Let's
if
see if he
makes
can make
the
the chicane.
And he
There
does.
goes.
Good boy.
Yeah, it definitely looks better when the guys are actually obeying the tracks there.
And yeah, nice flash of the lights. He's doing a great job out there. Another session like this one in a few hours' time, we'll see the Ford team of Weary Knight and Gear 3 Gaming lifting the trophy.
So that was around about 11 seconds for that fuel.
So, as Metal Drive's already stopped, that should be the
Yep,
last of the
Metal
GTE
Drive.
stops.
Yeah, he came in for that little bit of that damage early with the fuel at the same time.
Slide on 22 litres, Captain Cranky on 24, they will get to the end easily.
Yeah, so how far behind was Slide from Metal again?
1
About a
minute
minute
30.
Long way.
30. Yeah, so if they've done a bit of fuel conserving, you just don't know. But I think, well, Captain Cranky has been doing. Oh, this is a bit dicey there.
Oh.
Who's that coming up through?
That'll
Was that
be
the
Got Gecko.
Got Gecko? Yeah,
That'll
they haven't
be-
had the luck through with the GTEs, but lucky there was no incident there.
Yeah.
White Knuckles pulling up that LMPH is so hard to slow down to the GTE paces when you have to do that.
Awkward for, yeah, not sure if you're in the GTE car, you're not sure if they're going to do it or not. They stick the nose out and you're like, do I leave space? Do I take the corner? I'm not, you know. And the braking,
Yeah,
you brake so much later in the LMP car as well, I noticed. Got a bit nervous last night. I think I was in my lane, but I think the LMP car was also a little bit in my lane too when we braked, and I braked 50 meters earlier than he did. Flew past. Well,
yeah,
that wasn't you, Woody. That was, I think, one of the Audis. I was like, well, he was still in my lane, like he didn't give me the space, but yeah, a bit nerve-wracking sometimes, but you know, mostly it's been pretty clean and incident-free with the overlapping, no overtaking between cars.
Yeah, it's been very nice. It's been fairly clean, and I think a credit to the GTE cars. They've done a terrific job so far in this race.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most of them have been quite aware what's going on. Especially Slide, he was very nervous coming into these sessions and practice. He really didn't want to be in the way or have his race ruined. And yeah, he's been doing just that, staying out of the way and leaving the wide line, staying on his racing line, and in the corners I think I've seen him taking the wide line as well.
So
Second
glad
last
these
lap.
drivers are.
And
Yeah, the
Darky's going to have
drivers
a
are-
busy lap, by the looks of it.
Yeah, we might stay on Darky and see how he goes. He's been doing a tremendous job in the outright lead here, and just on his 35th lap on this session. But that's all up. That's 89 laps in this event so far. And he's on the 89th lap.
So they're already 3 laps ahead of last year's race.
Has any other car even taken the lead at one point in the LMPH class?
No, it's been the
I
number
don't
8
think so.
Audi that's been leading
way.
the entire way. Has not been passed at all. Of course, myself put the car on pole and led from the jump. Almost lost
Gecko
it
had
at
a
my
look down
first pit stop.
inside.
So we have one more lap after this one.
Just goes past Metal Drive there. And
Yep,
I think
so,
the Porsche and the Toyota are in front of him now.
so that could see the Ford team having a 1 lap and finishing with an extra lap, quite possibly at the end of this session.
My theory
Yeah.
was confirmed last night, Sado. We did do the times off where I finished compared to the next car rather than the extra lap because Darky was in between us. So that won't be an issue for the restarting session 4.
Uh,
Oh,
there we
Lockie's
go,
just
the
gone
Toyota's
off there.
just making it easy for the leader.
yeah, Toyota's been very sickly since the heavy clouds have rolled in.
Yeah, and
The
after he had
temperatures-
that, they haven't been able to repair that car properly. I don't think he just seems to not have the confidence. Oh, this is very tight. Not giving Darky the ideal line into the Porsche curves.
Hasn't seemed to
He was
affect the
holding
Darky
his line
though.
though.
So with Knight Pegasus in front of Lockie, that's put them both on the same lap as each other. Lockie's trailing Pegasus at the moment. It looks like he's going to actually he's closing up very quickly on Pegasus.
We're going to do one more lap. We'll
So this
start
will
the
be the
last
final lap.
now.
Yeah,
We're just gonna go
90th lap.
Little LMP battle. We haven't seen much of an LMPH overtaking another one. And I think Knight Pegasus will be more reluctant to let Lockie through than the two Audis.
I thought Lockie's gone straight into the rear wing of Pegasus then.
Pegasus hasn't had good record with that rear wing. He had GT take off the rear wing at the start of session 2. So
Yeah.
he definitely doesn't want to have an LMPH doing the same thing to him.
Well,
Looks
that's
like
going to be a slow
Pegasus has
down
a
for
bit of
Lockie.
front splitter damage. Oh, look at that Toyota. Straight past. See you later.
Oh. Is that a don't argue?
I think that'll be a. I think it might have been very weird. Might have actually been trying to help Pegasus out by giving Pegasus some slipstream.
Yeah, it could have been.
Typical
Oh,
trick
Pegasus
for
running wide.
Prototype just to dart back into line quite quickly to give the following cars some slipstream to help pull them
The
along.
toe. Yeah. So there you go. Gokgeko is keeping that gap at, under that 1 minute at the moment. So they're going to hand off under 20 seconds with the time compression if it finishes this way. So that's a good result and something that Aussie Carter's teammate to Gokgeko in the A&M Racing will be happy to hear and see. And no pressure on both the new drivers coming into the final session. I'm sure it'll be a little bit of nervous Nellies before the start of the race, with a lot to on the plate.
Yeah, so don't be thinking about your Porsche GTE car while you're out there.
Yeah, the most prestigious race on our ANZ Combined Racing League calendar, the Le Mans 24 Hours, just like in probably any series, iRacing and anyone else that hosts this iconic event. Has any of the commentators, have we seen Darky actually put a foot wrong on this session? I can't see that we've seen anything. Sado, with your monitoring in the pit lane, has anything come up?
It's been nice and quiet, which is how I like it.
The only little thing I saw last night was he'd driven off, but as I come through Indianapolis, it looked like he was rejoining the track, but that was in my GTE car. But other than that, I haven't seen anything.
I'll bring up one thing. He's both times coming into pits. That's probably the only mistakes he's made. That's probably really about it.
It's probably an extra 2 seconds by doing that, though. Gained.
Yes, one of those little things, but I'm sure Darky's not doing it on purpose. He's just outbraked himself both times into there. He's actually tried to make that corner each time. So
But well
here
done,
he comes.
Dark Racing 40.
Yeah, taking out the session 3 like he did in session 2 and like Sato did in session 1. So they haven't been challenged yet. We've got one more session remaining, people, and will there be a challenge from the second Audi R8 of the number 7 A&M Racing? We just soon see him coming past Metal Drive. Giving him a bit of dust at the end.
getting held up through the Porsche curves this session, whereas it was a big talking point in session 2.
Yeah, it's just how the races flowed, I think. A lot of where they've caught up to them, and then sometimes some of the guys might be lifting off a little bit in the GTEs just to let them through beforehand.
Another solid drive by Got Gecko here, handing over to his brother and teammate Aussie Carters.
Yeah, they'll be super excited here, and we'll just see what that live gap is once it's all finished when we get the results. But looking like he's done a very good job. So keep that wait time as minimal as they can.
The 2 LMP cars are finished, so Weary Night. He looks like slide science. Yep.
Yeah.
As they're going into Norsan hairpin. Metal Drive, well done to him. He's kept the car in second place for Dado.
Yeah, just a little bit of front end damage, but that'll be all fixed up, ready for Dado. And yeah, he's done a solid effort, really.
We'll see how much the time compression helps him again. I think it's approximately about the same as the last session, just by memory.
Yeah, well, if he's
1
about
40, 1 minute 50.
Yeah, well, if he's about say 2 minutes behind the leader, between the leader, he'll have to wait around that 33 seconds. So he's under 2 minutes, so probably anywhere about 28 to 30 seconds wait. The race will be on. We're just waiting for maybe Captain Cranky here to finish.
Weary Night. They're both nose to tail.
That's our slide.
Okay.
Cranky,
Slide
I did
and
see
Weary
a
Night.
Porsche come over the start line as the Darky was going into the Ford chicanes. So Cranky will be the last car to cross the line, as we see if Slide can hold off, can stay on the lead lap here.
He's doing a good job. I think Weary will just follow suit. No risk here, there's no gain. Actually, he's giving it a good go.
Captain Cranky's on a lap as well.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Weary's done a 355.5 on his last lap, so he's still pushing. He's done a faultless drive. Well-earned win. Oh, not win, sorry, it's not over yet, but, you know.
Yeah,
he's put
trying to duck
into
down
play.
the inside who he really wants to see. See, the race ain't over for
You
these
don't
guys.
want to do that. Oh.
It's all
Giving
about
us some
pride here.
entertainment right at the end.
That's a little statement there from the Ford team. I'm sure the team boss was saying to him, don't give up, let's go, let's go.
Never give up.
And there you go, never give up.
Great
slide
drive.
science down another lap at the very end there. And now we'll just be waiting for Captain Cranky. But that was a good drive by the Apex Eating team. Benefiting from the race leader having an issue at the very start, near the start. 4 or 5 laps in.
A talking point for the GTE class. It looks like there's only about 30-35 seconds between the two Porsches now. Captain Cranky's brought back from a 3-minute gap.
Wow, that's amazing. So he's only going to be 12 seconds behind his nearest competitor there for the final spot of the podium. So that's amazing.
As we see Jetto disconnection on the bottom left there, flashed up.
Oh, look, Sato, only no laps, retired. Do we minus that off the Dark Racing's 36 laps? It doesn't matter. It'll be still 36.
36.
There you go. So there's the end of the race results. We've got Dark Racing 40 with Sato in the number